I never played the original Pokémon Snap on Nintendo 64. I think maybe one of my friends had it back then, and a couple months ago my friend Ethan from Chicago streamed it for a bit. So I have seen some footage of it, but I have no nostalgia for it, and frankly I have no interest in going back to play the original either. But I know enough people who treasure it, so I wanted to give new Pokémon Snap a fair shot, and the trailers did look very pretty. And naturally, as always happens when I'm playing a Pokémon spin-off, I was thinking about the things in Snap that I would like to see adapted into the main series. I'm gonna be honest, from what I'd seen of the Snap gameplay, I did not expect to enjoy it for very long. It just seemed too simple and restricted for my taste. So I thought that I would play a few levels and then just put it down to go play something else and probably not come back to it for a while. In a way, I guess I was expecting the experience to be similar to when I played the Mystery Dungeon DX demo last year. I had never played a Mystery Dungeon before, but people love that series. I'd always heard good things about the story and the characters, and the graphics were pretty, so I wanted to give it a try. But then the premise of I've been turned into a Pokemon isn't one that really speaks to me, and the gameplay itself didn't appeal to me either. I don't remember what exactly it was about it that made me go, ugh, I don't want to have to put up with this. But from what I know, it's also very grindy, which is something else that I hate, and so when I reached the end of the demo, I felt like I had experienced enough of it.
Was it the limited number of steps?
That might have been it, yeah.
Because you want to explore, and putting a restriction on that sucks.
Right, you have to reach the door or whatever within a certain number of steps. Was that it? I don't even remember how it works, honestly.
Me neither, not entirely, but I think that's what the problem was.
I expected new Pokémon Snap to go that way as well, but it didn't. Now, don't get me wrong, the gameplay isn't great. It is simple, it is restricted, it is grindy. You go through a mostly predetermined route. It's only occasionally that you have access to alternate routes, and it's pretty late into the game when you finally get some control over your speed. You get 4 different actions to interact with the Pokemon and try to get different reactions out of them, or to interact with the environment to unlock various secrets, and there are a lot of secrets, which I think is great. But you can't stop. You don't have much time to investigate and try different things. You just have to throw your Fluffroot and your Lumina orbs and hope that something sticks. If you don't get the result that you need, you just have to replay the course from the beginning, which is why I haven't even bothered to look for most secrets. And look, I love photography, especially nature photography. As a university student, I did this one project that was a lot like a Pokemon Snap course. There was this little nature conservancy that was involved with a big eco art project, and I was working for the project, so I was at the park a lot. The park had this little loop trail that would take you through all the different parts of it, and I did that loop many times. I would visit the park in the middle of the day, or as soon as it opened, or when it's about to close. And I would walk around that trail slowly, taking my time to look at everything closely and take photographs of little details that everyday visitors might miss. But what made those walks and those photographs special was that when I found something that I wanted to photograph, I could set up my tripod or sit down or even lie down and spend as much time as I wanted taking photos of that one thing. And that's something that, unfortunately, Pokemon Snap doesn't capture. And then there's the thing that bothers me the most in new Pokemon Snap. You're supposed to get 4 photos of each Pokemon, each one of a different behavior, and some of those can be pretty difficult to unlock, but you can only show the professor 1 photo of each Pokemon at a time. So even if you get great photos of more than one behavior in a single go, you're gonna have to choose only one and then replay the course to retake those photographs that you already got and just pray that the new ones you get are just as good. But even though I have all of these frustrations with the game, I did not abandon it within a couple of hours like I thought I would. I played it for a few hours a day for a full week until I reached the credits, and I still pick it up every once in a while. And that's because it has one thing that no other game has quite captured in the same way: Pokemon behavior. That's not the only thing that it has going for it. Even though I never played the original, I really appreciate that they put a grown-up Todd in this one. And they keep referencing Professor Oak, although they never actually say his name. Mirror, we all know who you're talking about. But this really helps to keep the game connected to the original, to make these games feel like they're part of a connected world, which is always something that I want the main series to do more of. The Pokemon also felt like they were scaled very naturally compared to the player, and I love the new textures that they put on the Pokemon. In Sword and Shield, most, if not all, Pokemon are very smooth, but in Snap, you can really tell when one is scaly, or slimy, or furry, although it doesn't work quite as well for fur. And I hope that these are things that they can bring into the main series as well. The scaling, the texturing, they're really nice touches that help to make those creatures feel more real. But the behavior of the Pokemon is by far the most important feature of this game. It could be the only thing I like about it and still be enough to keep me playing. Every time I say that I want Pokemon to be more like animals, there's a few of you that pipe up to say that Pokemon aren't animals, they are monsters. But this, what we see in Pokemon Snap, is exactly what I mean when I say I want Pokemon to behave like animals. The way they move, the way they interact with each other, the way they react to getting food or to being bopped on the head by food. Some of them show interest in you. Some of them ignore you even when you try to get their attention. And the ways that they sound, the chirping, the squeaking, the grunting, the roaring, not just the one unique cry like in the main series games, or definitely not saying their own names like in the anime. From the very first course in New Pokemon Snap, I felt like I was in the real Pokemon world. Okay, I do think the population density is a little bit too high. Like, I wouldn't expect to step into a park and immediately spot Pokemon of like 5 different species. But other than that, yeah, this is the Pokemon world that I believe in. Now, I don't think that they can simply take this and transplant it to the main series. The Pokemon here have a lot of unique behaviors that probably wouldn't apply to a main series game. And more importantly, Snap is a simple game with limited interactions. So all of the behaviors happen at specific times and in specific places. We can have an Arbok hanging from a tree without worrying about how it's gonna come down. We can have Pyukumuku waving from inside Pelipper beaks without worrying about how that's going to affect the battles. In a main series game, assuming that these kinds of behaviors are what you'd see for overworld encounters, you do have those considerations. And so there's definitely going to be things that you can't do or that would be too much work to try to do. What I think can and should be adapted into the main series is the approach to Pokemon behavior, with an emphasis in making the behaviors of the Pokemon in the overworld, especially in the overworld, but in the battles as well, actually feel natural. For example, instead of having bird Pokemon just fly around endlessly until they despawn, maybe have them fly around for a little bit and then go land somewhere. Maybe there are Pokemon that sometimes stop and sit down, or even fall asleep, depending on what times they're supposed to be active. Maybe some Pokemon are camouflaged, or they're very shy, so they're always hiding, so you need to sneak up quietly or do something to get them to come out so that you can encounter them. Sword and Shield does have a little bit of this with how different Pokemon will run away from you or chase after you or just calmly walk up to you. But what Pokemon Snap shows is such next level behavior that I feel like the main series needs to step up. And hey, if they make the Pokemon sound like real creatures, like, maybe you just hear this weird call at some point and you have to go looking for the source. It happened to me a few times in Snap, like, what's making that grunting sound? Can you imagine checking your Pokedex and the cry that it plays sounds like birdsong? Okay, I'm starting to daydream. Let's wrap this up. As much as the gameplay frustrates me, I did really enjoy New Pokemon Snap, and there's a few things in there that I hope they do in the main series as well. If you've been following me for the past year or so, you may have noticed that I've been making an effort to play more of the Pokemon side games that I hadn't played before. It started with Mystery Dungeon DX last year, although that was just the demo, but since then I've also played Gale of Darkness, Shadows of Almia, which was my first Ranger game. Right now, I'm playing Pokemon Conquest on my Wednesday streams, and there's a couple others that I intend to play as well. So I decided to start this little series on the channel where I do sort of reviews of those games, but focusing on what I like about them that I think could work well in the main series. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you'll look forward to the next one, which will probably be about Ranger. Leave a comment with what you thought of Snap, and let me know if there's anything else from it that you would like to see in the main series. Thank you for watching, and thank you to my patrons for supporting me, especially luxury patron Ethan from Chicago, and this month's newest patron, Cinnamon Sugar Courtney. I'll see you in the next chapter.